Downsizing is very much the buzzword in the automotive world these days, and that's mainly because people are buying their cars smaller and smarter. Of course, that also means that the cars themselves are smaller and smarter, and even the engines have been downsized as far as capacity is concerned. This new Renault Mégane GT line is a good case in point. The Mégane is Renault's C-segment warrior, which means it's up against the VW Golf, Ford's Focus, the Opel Astra and Peugeot's 308, amongst others. It's been mildly successful, partly due to the halo effect of the hardcore 195 kilowatt RS version, but it has never been a significant volume seller, despite sleek looks and plenty of standard kit. While the big news is under the bonnet, it's well worth looking at the styling of this new GT line, and as you can see, most of the differences here at the front. Much more prominent headlights, a more powerful grille, these silver grey accents and daytime running lights. The overall look of the car, though, is still very familiar. The silhouette, of course, 5-door based. You can also get a 3-door version, and both cars priced exactly the same. One could argue that the 5-door lacks the sporty charisma of the 3-door, but those extra doors make it by far the more versatile option. They also add convenience, and the rear accommodation is brighter and less claustrophobic. Bottom line, the 5-door hatch offers better bang for the buck. The design is unmistakably Mégane and typically French. The flowing lines, curved roofline and smooth aesthetics suggest wind-cheating aerodynamics, while a wide stance, 17-inch wheels and that silver grey detailing add to the car's overall visual attraction. The GT line is not, as some might surmise, Renault's challenger to the Golf GTI. That's the task of the more muscular Mégane GT. Instead, the GT line places the emphasis on value and on economy, thanks to a frugal, high-tech, small-capacity turbo engine and a comprehensively equipped interior. The cabin of the GT line proves that Renault's focus here is very much on value. This is by no means a flagship model, and yet it has almost every bell and whistle you could possibly think of. The seats are very comfortable and supportive, the finishes are smart and attractive, and it has a lot of standard kit, including sat-nav and dual-zone climate control. Central to the GT line's infotainment system is the touchscreen display, which uses icons to access applications and settings. There's also a rotary controller with push buttons in the center console. The system is intuitive and works seamlessly. The TomTom-driven sat-nav system will even warn against traffic jams and suggest alternative routes in real time. The interior execution is inviting, with smart cloth upholstery adding a touch of class. Even the switchgear looks and feels crafted. It's the attention to detail that impresses, ensuring that the GT line's cabin also stands out from the crowd. In C-segment terms, rear legroom is ample, while the boot is deep and generous, even if the high loading sill makes manhandling larger objects in and out that much more difficult. The really big change as far as the GT line is concerned is a really small engine, at least by C-segment hatchback standards. It's a 1.2-litre four-cylinder unit, 97 kilowatts of maximum power, 205 newton-meters of peak torque, and that peak torque can go up by another 20 newton-meters on overboost under hard acceleration. The other side of this small engine, of course, is fuel economy. Renault claims 5.4 litres per 100 kilometres, although we think that in real-world conditions it might be slightly more. Our test consumption came to 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres, including some vigorous driving. Unlike most turbo engines, this one delivers its urge with linear enthusiasm, but it lacks the mid-range punch of larger turbo power plants, and you need to make full use of the rev range. The GT line is not a hot hatch, and therefore performance is swift rather than rocket ship fast. But it is an engaging vehicle to drive, and the fact that you need to use the gearbox only adds to the experience. The 0 to 100 time just under 10 seconds, top speed at 200 kilometers an hour, pretty much academic. The Mégane's road manners prioritise comfort and compliance, which isn't a bad thing given its mainstream application and appeal. But the electric power steering doesn't do the hatch too many favours, offering too much assistance and lacking feedback. At a smidgen under 280,000 Rand, the Renault Mégane GT line finds itself in the thick of the mainstream hatchback battle. The benchmark in that segment, probably the Volkswagen Golf TSI 1.4 Comfort line. But this car is a competent and convincing rival. Plus it has a bit of French style on its side as well. It's also comprehensively equipped and dynamically appealing, all of which suggests that we might just see many more Mégane GT lines on our roads. A surprisingly eager 1.2-litre engine has sufficient zest for a satisfying driving experience, while a slick gearbox and composed road manners add further dynamic appeal. Highlights are the comprehensively equipped interior and the smart execution, adding real value to the package, but the steering could be livelier.